Welcome to Earth and Sky. So, she's not back. Just kidding. She made it all the way back from Japan. She's here!
Ohayou gozaimasu! Konnichiwa!
So, how was the trip?
日本は大好きですね。皆さんはすごく全部は素敵ですね。素晴らしい。英語が話せます。すみません。I mean, sorry. English. Yes.
This is English.
We're back here
Yeah,
now.
you're here now.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you?
Sounds pretty good, though, doesn't it? I'm impressed. Okay.
It was amazing.
Back up.
He started to do it again.
It means I can't do
love
it.
Japan. It is amazing. Everyone is wonderful.
Yeah, well, you learn Japanese just to go out there, which is an amazing thing. So what did you say to us?
Just a good morning, and I love Japan, and everyone is amazing there, and so kind, and everything was just absolutely wonderful and incredible, and I am in love with the culture of Japan and the people. Absolutely incredible.
You had nothing but amazing things to say about the people.
So much.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning. How was the flight? Because it's like, how many hours from the U.S.?
It's supposed to be maybe about 13 or 14.
Supposed to be.
13 to 15, depending on the wind and the direction.
That's a lot.
It would have been a lot if it was just that.
Okay, and then you add on...
Well, it was. We always have these amazing lessons and everything that comes to us, right?
Yes.
So this was 6 trips to the airport over 3 days to get a flight that when I finally got my flight that was supposed to go to Japan, the one that did actually go.
The one that actually
we were
went?
an extra 4 hours on the tarmac before we actually took off, which made it about 17 hours on the plane.
And was that actually...
For the non-stop segment of the flight.
When you got to the airport and they were going to put you on a plane, is that the plane the last day that you got to leave on?
Yes, 17 hours non-stop.
Yeah, so you sat on there for 4.
Yeah.
And then you went straight for...
Straight, yeah.
14, 15,
something like that. They've actually had to divert the planes because of what's going on with the war in Ukraine and Russia, where we would normally... I might not have even told you that.
What?
Normally they fly over the curve of the Arctic, and I was excited to see the northern lights possibly. And because it flies into the war zone, actually, they now take a more southern route. So it might have been closer to 19 hours now that I think about it.
So
that might be why it was 15 and then plus the extra 4.
Longer route.
Yes, yeah. And so it's...
Because of the airspace is so dangerous because of the war in Ukraine.
Yes. It is pretty terrible over there right now. It is really bad for all of our fellow citizens over there.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, it is. So, but thankfully the flight I was on was safe. We got there, lots of mechanical stuff that happened in the beginning, but I got there. And one of the things I kept thinking on the way, and this is where we always have these great lessons in life, right? Was as a Kabbalist, we often ask for challenges to come to us because that's what helps us to grow. And we know when those challenges happen that amazing things are coming because it brings a gift and a blessing. And so as each of those days, as I was waiting to go out and as I'm sitting on the tarmac
driving back and forth to the airport.
Little bit friends with the person next to me there and and driving back and forth, all of that. So I was thinking about how incredible this trip must be that was coming up. Because important. I like to, and probably a lot of you are like this too, you like to earn what you get before you have it.
Of course.
It's not nearly as much fun if you get something good and you have to pay on credit for a long time.
Yeah, no, you get it. It's like, yay. And then a year later you're paying for it and you're like, I don't want to pay for it. I'm already bored with it.
Right. I would rather earn it up front. And
then it means so much
see
more.
The amazing things that come.
Yeah.
So I knew I was earning it with the energies.
Nice.
And definitely the universe came through with incredible things.
Nice.
And I think it's important as a traveler to have a lot of grace. And this goes not just when you're traveling, but in life as well. Because we all have these different challenges that happen and people that seem to try us at times or situations that feel a little unfair. Exactly. And if you have grace through that instead of feeling like you need to battle or you need to like claim your space for yourself or something like that.
Tell them, do you know who I am?
Right. That never goes over well.
The question is, do I care?
And yet, if you are a person with grace and you walk with a presence of grace and you know who you are, but you also know that all the other people around you are also equally valued and have that spark of light in them, and you treat them like that, they're going to treat you so much better, and you're going to get through whatever those challenges are together so much better than if everyone is tense and frustrated and angry and all of that.
Of course.
So it really makes for such a better trip if you're a traveler, or better whatever you're doing in life, if you remember to just have that light of grace within yourself, to have patience within yourself. I think a lot of times people would ask, aren't you nervous going by yourself all the way to the opposite side of the world in a place you've never been with not having anyone around you that you know? But I feel like we are all global citizens when we recognize that. When we see the humanity and the light in everybody else, we realize that wherever we go, we're never just by ourselves. We're never around strangers. We're around other people with hopes and dreams and goals just like us. And when we know that we treat others with kindness and dignity and love, we know they're going to treat us back like that. And if there's somebody maybe that doesn't act like that, then there's many other roads, many other ways to walk around that instead.
That's more the rarity than the rule.
Yes.
It's the people that aren't nice about helping or being kind or whatever.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I think that it's important to really, we've talked about this a lot before, eliminating fear from your thought process. Eliminating fear. Yeah. If you walk into a situation and you're afraid and you're timid and you're not sure how it's going to go, guess what? You're going to see all of the scary things that come out of the corners that maybe could go wrong or maybe show you why
people react to you based on what your presence is.
Because if you're looking for things in life and you see reasons to be afraid, then you're going to find the energy that answers what your expectation is. Exactly. And so I think that when you clear the fear from your mind and you recognize that there is so much so many incredible things to explore around us, whether it's traveling or whether it's in your own hometown or even in a place that you frequent a lot. But when you recognize that you don't need to be afraid of anything that's there, that you know that no matter what it is that happens, that you're going to be okay. I think that's a really important thing because yes, I got lost sometimes when I was there. Yes, I did my best with communicating in Japanese, but I'm by far from being perfect in it. And yes, those things happen. But when you look at it with grace and you realize, well, this is kind of an adventure. I ended up on the opposite side of town and the last train's going to be coming pretty soon. And you realize, well, I'll manage it somehow. We'll figure it out. I think
like the Jedi say, the solution will present itself.
Absolutely,
if you just calm down, believe, and pay attention.
Yeah, because the solution is already there. Yeah. Just like all the answers are already there around us. Yeah. It is a fact.
So you fly for like 19 hours, take off or leaving the gate to hitting the gate. So then they hand you your bags. And everything goes pretty good from there, right?
Of course. Grace. Lots and lots of grace. And it's funny, I actually had forgotten about the fact that they broke my luggage, and so I didn't have a handle for my really big luggage.
Yeah, the heaviest of the luggage.
Right. But you always find a way. Like things
now, at least there's no stairs there, though, right?
Yeah, no elevators, you mean. Yeah.
That's what it is. No elevators. Lots of stairs, no elevators.
Exactly. And not that you're tired after, 17 or 19 hours on a plane.
Right.
And, maybe a little week from that.
From being exhausted.
Seeing the stairs that go all the way up, higher than you can see, it would seem.
And no handle.
And no handle for the big luggage,
bags.
and then there's, the
other luggage
backpack and the other
luggage
suitcase.
And the other luggage,
I only had 3 at that point.
And the other luggage, and the other luggage.
And, but we always can find a way. And if I had panicked in that situation, if I had thought, oh my gosh, woe is me, or this isn't going to be okay, or how dare the airline do this to me? Why not me, really?
Get me here this late.
Exactly.
Everything is closing, and I can't find my way.
The JR Pass office had closed. As I walked up to it, they closed and locked the doors, and were not serving anybody else.
The JR Pass is to get on the trains.
That I had. Yes. And then finding out that the train that I needed, I wasn't quite sure how to get that to work because it was at the end of the night. When I planned to get there, the office would have been open.
Normally.
I knew which train I would be getting on and all of those things. And the thought did cross my mind, maybe I would be sleeping on the bench at the train station. And was that illegal in Japan? I'm not sure. Will I be arrested?
But you should look that up sometime.
But I was calm about it, and I knew that I would get through it. It probably helps that you and I have been through so much.
We've been through,
faced
comparatively
several times, and
comparatively,
you get through
not making it through. Finding where you're going to sleep tonight is really kind of
it doesn't matter.
It's that's a small step.
You have many situations,
quite a bit
very
before
young.
me. But.
And
so
you find a way. One of the people that I had been talking to, one of my new friends from Japan, had been asking people, what type of luck do you have? And I thought that was a really interesting question. Like, what type of karma? He was talking about how everyone has a specific type of karma that's like your type of really good luck. And so one of the girls said it's her ability to get reservations at restaurants when it's really challenging, and we saw that to be true.
That's absolutely true.
Our groups were, sometimes we had bigger groups with the conference, and no one else was able to get reservations, and she'd make one call, and we were in an amazing restaurant with our own room.
Oh my gosh!
Things like that a couple times.
What a cool karma, man!
Right.
Interesting.
And people have these different types, and I think it took me a while to think about what is my karma, and it's the kindness of people, the kindness of strangers. I've seen that my entire life. The kindness of strangers has always just been awestruck to me. It's amazing. And that happened that
they will show
that
up
night.
when you need it.
They do, and they're all around us. And I don't think it's just for me. It's one of the things I see a lot. Maybe I need a little more sometimes.
But you give a lot too.
I give a lot. I try to always be there for everyone as well.
So when you need it's nice that there's a balance
there. So as I was
there.
struggling up the final flight of stairs with my suitcases, and actually when I was near the bottom of one of the flights of stairs, there was a very small...
It went from the top to the bottom.
There was a very small Japanese woman that I was very impressed because she asked in Japanese if I was okay, and I said yes, and she just grabbed my big suitcase without the handle out of my hand and ran it really fast right up to the top of the stairs and set it right there for me, and I was like...
She's like, there you go.
Thanks. And she was off.
You were like, I got just one more. If you're not oh, okay. Well, thank you.
And I struggled a bit getting the other two up there. And just as I was nearing the top, an amazing couple came in, and I had found a ticket on a train that I thought I was going to take.
Saved you for where you're going.
Yeah, saved me from where I was going to go, and switched my ticket over to where they were going, and
last train out.
Last train out for the night. Otherwise, it would have been, I think, 6 or 7 a.m. before it would have gotten
You're sleeping on a bench.
And we had the first class cabin and all of that, so I could relax. And they made arrangements for me to get a hotel in Nagoya. I had no idea where Nagoya was, or if it was near where I needed to go, but I I knew I needed a night's rest.
What direction is that? Don't know.
And
okay,
they never really answered that whenever I would ask, but it's a little bit of the Japanese way to, if there's a fear of maybe an inconvenience, then
they just leave it alone. Yeah,
and
let's just not talk about it.
And it didn't matter. I was with people that were helping me get to a hotel.
That's
I
nice.
could figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ended up only being about a half hour or maybe 40 minutes or so from Kyoto, where
nice. So, and you went for how long about it? On the train?
A couple hours, so maybe an hour and a half. So it was quite a ways on the bullet train. So that
I was to say that kind of that. Yeah. So tell us about the train. I don't know if anybody else cares. I want to know about the train.
Yeah, the bullet trains were a lot of fun. There's a lot of different types of transportation.
Now, are there just like if you're going to go a certain distance, you have to take the bullet train? If you go a shorter distance, you take like the metro. Is it kind of that kind of a thing, or?
So you have several options for a lot of things actually.
Oh, really?
So the bullet train only goes longer distances, really, for the most part, unless you're in certain specific
that makes sense.
areas,
So you don't take the bullet train for a short run, right? That makes sense.
Right, that's how it's so fast. It doesn't stop very often.
Exactly. Okay.
But there are I think at least four different types of bullet trains. So some may go
different speeds?
300 miles an hour, others are a couple hundred miles an hour.
Okay.
And
I'm guessing you pay for
a little more
convenience
for the
of
faster.
speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so those were really pretty cool. It was fun to see how the train stations work too. The way they have the gates that keep people from falling into the bullet train's tracks. But when the bullet train comes up, those gates lift up kind of automatically. And very efficient. Everything in Japan is so efficient. The way they can board so many people, maybe hundreds of people, within a few seconds, within about a minute. Everyone that needs to get off is off, and everyone that needs to get on is on, and it's moving to the next destination.
Nice.
I would love to have that here. That would be amazing. And people know how to use it. You learn and quickly gauge the flow. And just like all cities kind of have a rhythm and a flow, each of the different transportation systems have this beautiful rhythm and flow. And I feel like the rhythm of Japan, and it would be different in different areas there, but was fascinating to watch and to feel kind of the heartbeat of each of those areas, and quite a fast pulsing rhythm in the bullet train stations.
Yeah,
you can feel the energy.
And so now that kind of brings me to my next question. So tell me about kind of the feelings of the different, because you stayed in a city and because you stayed in a city and then like a more country-ish area, right? And then right near the mountain, or is that the country-ish area? Okay, so and then right near the mountain, and then you went up multiple mountains and stuff. But tell me about the towns and the cities and stuff. How was?
Yeah. So
do we have comparisons here?
I really enjoy doing that when traveling abroad, finding out how different types of areas feel, because I think we can learn a lot from each of those different areas. So I stayed quite a long time in the countryside because my main purpose in going was 21 days of meditation on Mount Kurama, which is the birthplace of
Reiki.
Exactly.
Sui found Reiki.
And in Japan it's called Kurama-dera because it's actually a temple. The entire mountain is this incredible temple with many ginger shrines going all the way up, and you can feel the energy.
And they have a spirit, right?
The Tengu.
Can I show them?
Sure.
So this is the one. Ta-da! So that's one of the ones for Mount Kurama.
I felt the Tengu coming to me a couple of weeks before I went to Japan, and
that's cool.
It was as though I felt the energy. It was interviewing me. I saw the Tengu spirit in front of me and on the sides and around me, examining me and asking, what is your purpose? What's your intent in coming? But we'll get into all of that later.
Let's get back to the towns.
So in the countryside, I think you get a real feeling for the way people live sometimes, and the houses are bigger, of course, and
the speed and the rhythm and
slower, very comfortable.
Same there. So that makes sense. That's
very
cool.
much so. They had an election going on, so that was kind of interesting to see the politicians as they were on loudspeakers in their cars for about only a week before the election.
They don't. They don't do the.
In 2 years,
I'm going to be running.
And but I was able to watch one of their speeches by the local train station, which was a very
cool.
small, very cute train station.
Guy, lady. Do you know what
they had both.
Okay.
The one that I saw was a man that was
Okay.
a young man that
Okay.
was running. But I also saw there were women that were running as well.
Nice.
Fantastic to see.
That's so good. Yes.
And in the cities, you could feel such a fast rhythm. And I find it fascinating too with the culture there, the way there was this gentle quiet, even in the busiest of places. So when you would be in the station for the bullet train, there was that faster rhythm of energy.
Yeah.
But as soon as you step on board, it's very quiet, it's very relaxing. Very often I found myself falling asleep on the trains, as many people do, whether it was a 10-minute ride or a 2-hour ride. I found myself frequently falling asleep, and it was just very soothing. You could feel this considerate energy that they have for each other, because oftentimes people work such long hours and that they really need that rest wherever they can get it. And it would be nice, I think, if we would incorporate some of that here in our culture as well. That
a place of
respect
downtime
for people in
the public kind of a thing.
And having the spaces being very safe for people with that as well. The rhythm in Tokyo is very interesting. It's quite different from Kyoto. I think we'll get into that a little bit more in some of our later talks that we do as
sounds
well.
good. And so being that you went to all of these different ones, you did like multiple transportation days, right? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, I think the more interesting one was when I would go to Tiny Eye. On the days that I went to Tiny Eye, which is in the Gifu Prefecture, which is a little northwest in Japan. And
like northwest of Tokyo or northwest general?
Northwest of Tokyo. I believe. And I was staying in Iwakura, which is a small, adorable, and beautiful and comfortable place in the Kyoto prefecture, but about 20 minutes from Karamadera and 20 minutes from Hieizan, which is another big mountain where we placed the World Peace Grid.
Oh, nice.
But probably the more interesting travel days, I went to Tiny Eye twice, and it was quite a long journey. And so I had to get up quite early. I think it was around 4 or so. Normally I was getting up around 5 or 5:30, but it was around 4 o'clock that I'd gotten up and gotten ready. And those days, I would have a little bit of a decent walk to get to the local train station, and then I would take the local train station to the subway, and then I took the subway to the bullet train, and then I took the bullet train to where we had a private bus that was another hour and a half.
Oh my God.
So I think I'd ridden pretty much every mode of transportation.
The whole thing, man.
And I arrived there by 8 a.m.
Nice. Wow.
About 8 a.m.
Wow, yeah.
And
so did you get to do cars?
And I did, yes.
Really?
Yep. And they're on the opposite side of the street, so it's interesting. Frequently,
they drive on the other side of the street,
it would seem
like Europe.
that I would try to get into the driver's side when it was actually.
the
driver's on the right-hand side.
Yeah. So you go to get in, like
side.
you're going to hop in the passenger.
Yes,
They're like, you're not driving. You're
right.
Sorry.
Right. Exactly. And awesome. And it's fascinating too, because some of the cars and usually the taxis will have a button. They don't want you to ever touch their doors because they automatically open. And
really?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Interesting.
It depended for each of the personal vehicles. There were 3 different people that I rode with in their personal cars, and one of those had the automatic button, and as well as the taxi, and the other 2 I could open the door.
Interesting.
And, it was very interesting, and pretty much all of the cars are electric, or hybrid, which is fantastic.
That's amazing.
Can you imagine in our country if we all went electric or hybrid, how much better that would be for the climate.
That's so good.
And the rides are so nice because it's so smooth and
quiet
easy and quiet. Everything is quiet there. I noticed even the elevators were completely silent. There was no sound of a
There's
motor.
not the
I'm not sure how they do it. None of that at all.
Oh,
The first elevator I got in, I remember, was in Nagoya.
Okay.
And at that hotel.
So they actually had an elevator. That's awesome.
Yes, that was
that
wonderful.
point.
Yes, the hotels do. Some of the train stations do, and some don't. But
the airport apparently does not.
And but in Nagoya they had this. When I got in the elevator, I remembered thinking, "Did we push the button? Is it
Are we
moving?"
going? Yeah.
And then the doors opened, and we were on the 9th floor.
Oh.
And quite quickly, and 100% silent. There was a little video screen in there that had like flowers blooming. That was very pretty.
You're like,
to
oh,
watch.
that's nice, and you're there. Oh, interesting.
Yes,
That's so
exactly.
good.
So, so many things I think that we could learn and bring here that are wonderful. The efficiency of different things and the mechanics of like their air conditioning units.
That's
and
nice.
just so many different things
That's
that were
awesome.
incredible.
So now you make these long journeys and stuff, and you go up the mountain you actually go up a mountain to meditate and stuff. So do you have you have a tracker, right? A step tracker?
Mhm.
What was some of your high step day numbers?
I was averaging over 20,000 on most days.
That's really
and
good.
I think 28,000 on some of the higher days.
Oh, that's pretty
8,000
good.
steps. So
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
I don't remember what that equates to in miles. I don't know
Nice,
if I checked. But
nice.
Yeah, I did notice that.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive. So, and then going up the mountain, of course,
Amazing. The energy is just
So good.
incredible. And so many lessons that I learned from the mountain. So many things I felt the mountain speaking to me about that I wasn't really even expecting. And I know we're going to probably not have time for that today,
probably.
but there were several things that were just absolutely incredible that came through in the meditations. And the first few things, there were 3 things that were repeated frequently, especially on Madera when I was there. And it was interesting. Later, I learned that many people go to that mountain for the first
that
lesson
thing.
that I kept hearing it speak to
Oh,
me about over and
interesting.
over, and I didn't know
Interesting.
that before, so that was quite
Interesting.
interesting. Had about a 20-minute conversation with a Sui under a place where the waterfall was near
So
the
they have different focuses and different.
yeah,
drives and
so
stuff, yeah.
much. Yeah, each of the different mountains has their own sacred spiritual meaning. Peru
Nice.
is the same way. In
Nice.
Peru, you can connect with different mountains for reasons, and that's why Sui went to Madera was the purpose of that
Nice.
mountain.
Nice.
But I think we'll need to get into all of that
Next
a bit
time.
later.
Yeah, that's
so
really
we
good.
have so many things to talk about. And
So this is just the
share.
start. This is to get you there. Now that we're there,
Yes.
next time we'll talk about all the deep stuff.
Yeah, we
Nice,
have
nice.
several pictures that we'll be sharing later, and we
nice.
have an event for our students coming up here online pretty soon.
Nice.
That will go into some of the deeper wisdom of the mountain too. And so yes, if you're interested in that, let us know, and we'll let you know when we have a general public night
Yep,
for that.
absolutely.
In addition to the one, if you are a student and you haven't received an email from us,
You should have received an email.
let us know, and we'll get that information
Absolutely.
to you. So many incredible deep teachings and wisdoms that came through from the mountain, and I just saw so many miracles occurring around it in a lot of ways. It was really remarkable to be there at springtime too.
Nice.
For the 33 days that I was there, I was able to watch it changing from the bare trees and the cherry blossoms to a different flower to the green coming in at the
Nice,
end,
that
and
sounds
it just was
amazing.
so symbolic
Yeah, I
of
can't-
the time of year that we were going.
I can't
through,
wait to
too.
see some pictures
Spring.
and stuff. That's going to be awesome.
I will look forward to talking to
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
about that in the
Nice,
future. If we
nice.
had more time, we would get into
Yeah.
more of that now. And I would like to definitely sum up to remember in your life as you go through this next week to think about the concept of grace, being a graceful person, carrying yourself with grace. When things are challenging, when things are frustrating you, when you feel your anger peaking up a little bit or that patience meter going down a little bit, maybe think about how can you embody the essence of grace in your life and with the people around you that challenge you as well. I think that would be a good takeaway for this week.
Nice, nice. Thank you. And if you like this video, hit the like button.
Don't forget to go to our website, earthandskycenter.com.
Yep.
Subscribe to our email newsletter if you would like.
Yep. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And see you next week.
See you next week. Jane Matane.
Nice.